Hello, Internet. My name is Ace, and today we're going to be taking a look at the perspective tools within Sketchbook Pro. Okay, so what I tend to do is I use the ruler a lot, and basically what you can do is you can create a, let's say, a horizon, then you can put this point anywhere. Let's say here, this is going to be our like point one, and then you can put one over here. This is going to be point two. You can build your boxes up like so. But we're going to delve in because this is kind of, that approach is kind of how I would do it traditionally. But we're going to delve in and have a look at the perspective tools. So we have a 1-point perspective, 2-point perspective, 3-point perspective, and curvilinear perspective. Okay, they call this fisheye mode, but in traditional perspective, this is called curvilinear perspective. It's essentially when the horizontals and the verticals all have a curve to them, and you can create, like I said, well, like not like I said, like they say, you get like a fisheye lens approach to things. So we're not going to use that as much because it's just not used as much. So let's start with the 1-point, because 1-point perspective is obviously the starting point for a lot of people. So as you can see, we've got this crazy cursor that as you move around, it kind of moves with you. So what we're going to do is we're going to drag this point, and this is going to be our 1-point. So this is our horizon line as well. So if we are standing looking at a scene, standing up tall, this is going to be like 5 feet or something. This is going to be our 5.5 feet. This is going to be our eye line, okay, the horizon line. Now, you can crouch down and look at a scene from down below. It's going to be like this, and lots of things are going to be on top, like so. But the so just think of this as your eye line. So you could be high up, you could be low down, whatever. So let's put this in the midpoint. And for true 1-point perspective, we're going to be the center of the page is going to be where the point is. You can create your scenes in 1-point perspective in the center, and then kind of crop the image to wherever you like for a bit more dynamic things. So we've got our point here. Now the thing with perspective, you don't have to always constantly go through this through the vanishing point. You just need to basically draw what you need to draw. So what is this crazy cursor thing doing? So as you can see, it's moving. And you've got like a crosshair that's like this. And then you've got this diagonal that I can't draw because I'm in perspective mode, that keeps changing. Now this diagonal is pointing towards the vanishing point. So let me just draw a quick box here. So it snaps, and it makes it so we can't draw out of perspective. Now I'm going like at a 45-degree angle with my pen, and it's finding which angle is the closest to where we are, and it's doing that. So why is this cursor so good? Well, basically, if you want to be accurate like this, we've got this box now. We can line these crosshairs up so they're on the correct horizontal and vertical, and then just trace back. So there we go, like so, and then let's choose a cutoff point around here. So there we go. There we have a box in 1-point perspective. It's slightly off to the right. That's why there's a steeper angle on the right-hand side than there is on the left. So yeah, so this is 1-point perspective tool. So what you can't do as well is you can't keep your pen on and draw a square. You have to take your pen off every time. So there we go. We've got this. Then let's line up these 2 points like this. Just go back towards the horizon line, like so. Now as you can see, this saves a ton of time with getting the ruler and kind of line it up to you every time to the your points. Like here, look, this is great, this cursor. If you look, we can line it up so the horizontal is going across this line I just drew, and the diagonal is going is on the same line for the vanishing point, and as you can see, we can line these things up. Obviously, you can rub out these things. The eraser works in perspective. That's kind of funny. So we obviously need to draw that horizon point in for our image to make sense. Once we've got rid of if we get rid of the perspective tool, then it still makes sense. Now let's draw a bit more of a complicated. Let's draw like a staircase from the side, and let's not worry too much about. Let's do an L. So don't need to worry too much about accuracy at the moment, because we're just testing this tool out. Okay. Oops. So line those up. I really like. I think it's an ingenious design. Is lining up the crosshairs like that. I think that's a problem that people have in perspective, is getting things accurate, and they've really thought about that. It's brilliant. There we go. So there we have our L in perspective. Right, so let me grab another layer, and let's look at two-point perspective. In fact, what we can do is we can see what these things do. So if you look, what I can do is I can take the snapping off, and it allows me to have my horizon line, but I can draw free. So say if I wanted to draw, let's say, something on this box. So I wanted to draw some like eyes on this box or whatever. It allows me to do that whilst keeping the perspective tool still active. And then just draw the mouth like so. It allows me to keep the perspective tool active, and then say if I'm like, right, I've finished that now, that's kind of how I want it. So let me go back into perspective mode. I just have to click the what's it called? Not magnifying glass, magnet, and it will start snapping again. Okay, so let's hide this. So let's take a look at the two-point perspective tool. So as you can see, we've got a point over here, and let me just zoom out so I'm on a bigger canvas. Okay, we've got a point over here. So this is, you can have the horizon line at an angle if you want some like really crazy dynamic stuff going on with boxes and stuff. But when I'm doing stuff like that, I tend to draw things as they would be, and then I will tilt the image at the end. Okay, so it snaps into place when you're on the horizontal, which is nice. So we've got a point here. This is our left point. This is our right point. So we'll keep them fairly wide. We'll do something like that. So let's draw a box. So we've got this line here going back. Then we can line this up, although we don't need to yet. There we go. We've got a box in perspective. So now let's line these up. This is great for accuracy. Let's make a huge box that goes like above the horizon line. Let's line all these up. I don't think I was quite accurate there because I couldn't quite see the one going back because I didn't draw it dark enough. That should do. Like so. And again, like so. Now this is going above the horizon line, so these joining lines are all going to go appear like they're going downwards. So let's just connect all these together. Like so. So this can save you a lot of time. Now, is using someone like myself who's a huge fan of perspective. I've done it mainly traditional, and I'm just a huge fan. I love learning about tilts and complicated things like curvilinear perspectives and stuff like that. I like doing that the traditional way. Do I see something like this as cheating? Not really, because it's not really going to work unless you've got a working knowledge of perspective anyway. And really, all that we're doing is using a it's just like using a ruler, really. It's just tracing back, but it's just saving time. It's not actually cheating. It's just a slight time saver. Well, quite a time saver actually. So, if you're a working illustrator, or if you're not, I mean, this stuff can get a bit tedious. But if you're doing it like this is great. I do like it. It's not cheating, in my opinion. Not that my opinion counts for much, but if it did, I would rule it as not cheating. So we can break lines up and stuff like this. This is great. I just did a video actually that's on my channel about drawing stairs in perspective. Now, doing it the old-fashioned way, but you should check that out because I do it in a way in which you can do any. You don't have to do the diagonals through the box and all that. It can be any breakup of pattern that you wanted. You can have longer steps, shorter steps, and it'll all translate well into perspective. So yeah, so we've got this in perspective, this kind of box thing. So let's break it up even more. Let's make this a bit more of a complicated shape. I guess you could be a bit more creative with this tool than you could be if you was just working in with a ruler and stuff, because you've got a bit more freedom and you can just start drawing and seeing what happens rather than having to really plan things out. Now, one thing I do recommend for artists and illustrators using this tool is use this as a guide, and then at the end, use this as like a construction as a guide. Then at the end, go through and go over things in freehand, because the ruler look is not a good look for illustration, in my opinion. Again, other people may disagree with me, but that's my kind of thing. I don't like rulers in illustration. I like them for construction and getting things planned out. Then there comes a time to just ditch them. So yeah, so there's kind of more of a complicated shape that we have going on there, like so. I don't really know what it is, but it's just me kind of doodling. So let's see if we can. Well, we can. Let's do something that's quite distorted and above the horizon line. So this is something you'd see in like the older comics. A lot of that had distortion. A lot of the new stuff has distortion and stuff. But if you look at like Steve Buscemi, no, that's not right, is it? Is it? Maybe it is right. I'm not a massive comic book aficionado. There we go. So we've got that. Now Steve Buscemi is the dude from who was a firefighter and was an actor in like Adam Sandler films and stuff. It's not Steve Buscemi. It's something like that. Leave a comment below and let me know who I'm meaning. Steve. Oh, it's something like that. That's really annoying. So yeah, so let's do one. Let's do something really, really distorted here. Steve. Gosh, I should know that. Great draftsman. Forgettable name. Definitely not Buscemi. Right, there we go. Now I'm questioning myself. Was the actor in that thing Steve Buscemi? And then I think he had his own series like not so long ago. I don't really watch TV, so there we go. So we've got some quite distorted shapes going on. That's cool. So let's look at the 3-point perspective. Now 3-point is my favourite. You can get some really exaggerated things going on. So the thing with 3-point is you do need to have that third point quite far away, or else it's gonna look weird. Can you drag? Oh, that's perfect. You can drag things off your canvas that is great. Okay, so let's have quite a high-ish horizon line, 3/4 of the way up, 2/3, whatever, and let's draw in. So basically, the third point is just, instead of the horizontals converging, the verticals converge as well. So let's zoom out even further and really push that real far down like this. And let's see what kind of things we can build with this. So let's go on the horizon line. Give us a horizon, which that seems to have gone off the horizon. Why would that happen? Let's see. So we'll bang smack on the horizon line there. So that. Okay. I must have gone on a very slight angle. That's why. Right. So let's do like the traditional comic book thing. I don't know why I'm talking about comic books all the time. You clearly don't know. You clearly know that I don't know what I'm talking about. Steve Buscemi's just sat there in between takes with his pen and paper, just doodling some Spider-Man comics. Yo, Steve, you finished the Fantastic Four one yet? Right, okay. So, as you can see, these verticals are converging downwards. Now, let's just... okay, I needed to go like so. You get some real dynamic things with 3-point perspective. You can overuse it and make things look weird. You can certainly do that, and it's not always a great look, but I love it. I did a video not so long ago on how to take things that are in 1 point and make them more exciting by adding that 3rd point. That was kind of a fun video to do. Okay, so we've got like a building or something. We could, let's find the center point for this, and then we can split this in half like so, and then the center point, the vertical, is obviously going to be in perspective, so let's draw that down like so. Then in fact let's split it up even more. Let's get rid of the perspective tool. Oops. There we go. So this is a really nice tool. It's very cool. It's I can see it saving me a ton of work, like time, which time is obviously, time is of the essence, especially when you've got like deadlines coming up and stuff like that. So that's going to be kind of handy for drawing backgrounds. And like I say, I don't think it's cheating, because if you've got a working knowledge of perspective, then your images are going to look a lot better for it anyway. So that's cool. I'm a fan of this. I'm a fan of the working in 3-point particularly, because you can drag that way off the page, which you need to. In fact, I'll show you what happens if you don't, which I'm sure you probably already know, but let's bring this up so it's just on the bottom of the page or something like that. Does that snap to the center of those two? Looks about right. That's cool. Right, let's go on the horizon somehow. Sorry, my phone just went off. Apologies if you heard that. Am I getting a message? Right, so let's do... In fact, if you look at the actual perspective guide's icon, it is actually a 3-point perspective thing. So we'll do that so it's going above the horizon line. In fact, no, let's do something completely below the horizon line in 3-point perspective now, because we didn't last time. We went across the horizon line, which I do think, working in 3-point perspective, it always looks far better if you are going like above the horizon line and below your object, because 3-point really happen. Well, it happens in reality when we tilt our head and look down on an object, and that's what like happens with big objects, you know, like skyscrapers and things like that. That's why it's used a lot in comics. Alright, where's this point? Around here somewhere. Yeah, I'm loving those guides. I'm a big fan of those guides. These things here. Although my hand is covering this one. So that was a bit of a guess, which was wrong. Let me just tilt my pen down slightly. Don't help that my pen needs calibrating, because I've changed the position of my Cintiq. Okay, look how distorted this is. This is great. You can get some really distorted stuff, and that's because our third point is there rather than like well off the page. So we've got this kind of thing. Now what we can do as well with the third point is we can put it above the horizon line, so it's as if we're looking up at big buildings. So I'll do that quickly. I don't know whether we should look at curvilinear perspective, because it's not really used that often, but I worked a lot with it traditionally. I kind of learnt a lot about it. Kind of got all my compasses out and everything, and then never really used it. So that was kind of pointless. So let's make this a bit more what's the word? A bit more less extreme, not more extreme, less extreme, by raising it higher. Right, and then let me find the horizon line, like so. Then we're going to be down here, let's say on the street, like so. Here is the street. It's the corner of the Daily Planet, or the Daily Bugle, or something like that. And we are quite low down. Like a worm's eye view, it's often called, when you're looking up at something. So one thing that we will do, let's do it like this, so we can really get the 3 point in. So we're kind of halfway flying up the building with our good friend Spidey, and we're looking up and seeing this skyscraper. So let's put a little sign on there. Now I'm not working out the actual measurements and stuff for where this would be, because it's just a quick video. But let's say there's something like that, and we can split that up, and let's do that now. I just meant this video to be like a quick 5 minutes of like looking at the perspective tool. It's the first time I've looked at it, to be honest, and this 5 minutes has turned longer because I've just really had fun with it. Now, I can't see any flaws with it, to be honest. It's fun, it's quick, and yeah, that's it. I think it's, like I say, it's not cheating. It's using tools. Like, if I was working traditionally and a tool came out where you could rule lines quicker or something like that, would that be cheating? No, it wouldn't be cheating. So it's the same with digital stuff. People have a propensity to point the finger at digital work and say, that's not real work. And for someone who works traditionally, who loves working traditionally like myself, I think that that's stupid. Painting's painting, whether you're painting with pixels or pigment. Right, okay, so that's the 3 point tool. Now let's see what this lock does. Okay, I'm not quite sure what this lock does. Does this lock... Ah, that is great. That is great. What this lock's done is it's locked these points. So let's say we're moving around and we keep moving them. We can undo that. But we're drawing quite close, and like we needed to go to the point there. We can undo that, and if we click this lock, we can draw around this point, and that, yeah, that's great. And then the eye is just whether you can see the lines or not. So you could just draw without the lines and just kind of feel free like so, to draw however you want. But that's cool. I like that perspective tool. I'll maybe do a full demo using an actual scene rather than just kind of scribbling lines. But I'll maybe do a full demo where I combine like traditional things like how to get like a wall plan, and it can be any shape, any size. The space in the windows can be anything you want, and project that onto a scene. So using this perspective tool and traditional tools and perspective tools, and let's just have fun with that. So if you want to see that, let me know in the comments below. If this has been helpful at all, tick on my down belows, click the like button down there and the subscribe button. If you want to see more perspective videos, there should be a link in the description to my perspective videos. And yeah, let's do a scene next time. Let's think of a scene, like I don't know, whatever. We'll plan it out next time, and we'll really flesh that out, and that'll be cool. Right, so until next time, have an awesome week, and I'll see you later. Bye bye.